Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Lanese, and on this channel, I share tips about motivation, spirituality, blending the two together so you can get the best benefit out of it. This week's video is on my 8 tips for how to become the best version of yourself instantly. My goal by the end of this video is to provide you with all of the tools that leave you feeling like you have already tapped in to the best version of yourself. Stick around for my 8th tip, where I share with you how to put yourself in the perspective of the best version of yourself right now. Tip number 1 is develop the growth mindset. So, if you've never heard of this, I am going to explain it to you. In psychology, there are 2 predominating mindsets. There is the growth mindset and there is the fixed mindset. In order to tap into the growth mindset, they see failure as opportunity. They also are hungry and eager to always continue learning and remain a student. They celebrate other people's successes because they understand that that adds to the collective success. But the key takeaway for how you tap into the growth mindset is understand that you can achieve anything you put your mind to. On the other hand, the fixed mindset thinks that they are limited and that they cannot achieve anything they put their mind to. They believe that these are all the skills that they were born with, and that's that. They have a fixed and limited mindset. They see failure as setback. They believe that they cannot change, and they avoid challenges. The best way to tap into the growth mindset so that you can instantly become the best version of yourself is understand that the sky is not the limit. Understand you are an infinite being capable of anything you set your mind to, because it wouldn't be in your brain if you couldn't achieve it. Then once you think in such an expansive way, you will be on the path to actually getting the things that you want to do done. That leads me to tip number 2, which is audit the stories that you tell yourself and expect the unexpected in order to tap into the best version of yourself right now. We create our own reality is something you will hear in the spiritual community. And if you look into psychology, there's something called the self-fulfilling prophecy, which states that if you believe your reality will be this way, say you're bad at tests, and you believe, oh my goodness, the next time I take a test, I'm going to be bad at tests, and the next time I take a test, I'm going to be bad at tests. Well, that creates a feedback loop that shows you that, oh, well, yeah, actually, you believe it, so it'll happen. So when you audit the stories that you tell yourself, then you start to notice where you perpetuate stories that don't align with the best version of yourself. Instead of expecting that same thing to keep perpetuating, eliminate expectation and think, you know what? This time it's not going to be like that. And it's going to be hard at first, especially if you have something super ingrained, but hold on to that uncomfortability of, oh, this feels so weird. I shouldn't be thinking this. Plow through that. It's gonna be a little messy at first when you try to rewrite these stories, and you can literally physically write the stories down if you want, cross them out, and then rewrite a new story. When you expect the unexpected, you open your world up to be able to tap into all new realities. And that is something that the best version of yourself is capable of doing. That leads me to my 3rd tip, which is in order to tap into the best version of yourself right here and right now is understand the many worlds theory in quantum physics. Now, my information on quantum physics has came from YouTube, PBS Spacetime. There's a playlist called Quantum Mechanics, which I will link down below in case you want to further your research, and I encourage you all to do so. The many worlds theory in quantum physics explains that there are many worlds existing at the same time in the same space as our own world. That means that it is happening parallel to this reality. Let's break it down in layman's terms. Pretend this is Earth. You're on Earth right now. And instead of thinking of parallel worlds as like off in this nebula, which is how I thought of it before, the many worlds theory states that parallel realities exist right here on top of our own. Think of it as like different layers of reality. And this is where science is at right now with this many worlds theory. It's of course a theory, so it's not set in stone science, but it is a part of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. So it is a very reputable theory. It's not just metaphysical. And I encourage you guys to do your own research. But what this means is there could be either infinite realities existing on top of this reality, or there could be a cap on that number. There could be like a huge, large number that has a cap. And what Sean Carroll says, who is a scientist, and I will link his video below, is don't be concerned with how many, because even if it's infinite, we can divide all of these different realities into different timelines that look very different from each other. He says, think about the different timelines that seem so drastic and seems so different, because what he explains is that if the many worlds theory in quantum physics is real, then there's a reality where the only thing that changed in you right now is a cell in your body decided not to divide. So that reality looks so similar to the one that you're in. So think of it as different realities that look drastically different. Like try to divide the realities in how different they are rather than the ones that are all clumped together that are super similar, that have to do maybe with the cells in your body. So with that being said, that gives you access to being the best version of yourself right now, because it already exists. The best version of yourself right now is here. It might even be the reality that you are in right now, or it might even be a couple steps off. I encourage you to sit down and tap into that best version of yourself and understand that reality is already here. You don't have to go grappling for it and reaching for it. It is within your grasp, which leads me into my fourth tip, which is make your shoulds a must. The instantaneous best version of yourself does what they say they're gonna do, and that's it, no question. And that is how you align with that parallel reality, because for me, the best version of myself makes videos a must and makes writing my book a must. So when you change your shoulds from musts, what happens is you eliminate those other realities that are lower versions of yourself. And you can do this instantly with the power of that growth mindset. And if you need a little extra help, I've made videos on how to plan your goals. So I will link those in the description box below. Tip number 5 is act on your urges. Now, this is within reason and within context. I don't mean your urges to hurt anyone or do something that is harmful towards somebody, but what I mean is those urges that you have to get your goals and to manifest your reality right here and right now, act on them. So I want to tell you a story. When I was in college, I had this one semester where I was really thinking about the simulation theory, which states life might be a simulation. And I literally loved playing The Sims. Like I was an avid Sims player. And I would think of the world kind of like The Sims. And I would think to myself, you know, if you've played The Sims on the computer, you know that they had goals and they'd be these little thought bubbles that would pop up and you could choose to do them or not. And you could like kind of pin them, like this is a goal that they're gonna do. I really want them to get this goal done. Or you could exit out on them and be like, eh. But the more goals that you got done, that would work towards The Sims aspiration. And I started to wonder, like, what if it's like that? Like, what if we acted on those urges to get our goals and to implement the things that we wanted to do, then we really could just be the best versions of ourselves right here and right now. And so I decided to act on my urges and to take chances. I made it a must to always raise my hand in class at least 3 times a day, to exercise my social muscle, not even just to raise my hand. Like, I wanted to strengthen my charisma skills in class. So on the first day of class, I made it a must to raise my hand at least 5 times a day because I wanted to set a precedent that showed that I am coming to class to be a team member, to be noticed, to be heard, to engage in the mental conversation that is happening here. I don't just want to be another person that sits back in the background and listens to everyone having a conversation. I want to be a part of the conversation. I want to learn how to communicate with people while I'm getting my education. And sometimes I would hesitate and then I would beat myself up about the fact that I didn't raise my hand. I felt like I wasn't aligned with the best version of myself. But when I started to implement things that I saw from Charisma on Command, which I've mentioned before, I realized I just needed to instantly act on my urges. And it just really showed me that the opportunities to be the best version of yourself are right there. What is limiting us is the hesitancy in our own body. Tip number 6 is to disregard the social media contest. Some people like to call it a social media scoreboard. All of the likes and the views and the comments and the shares get to our heads. And we have very valid reasons for that. Our social media is very based on vanity metrics. It's based on these very vain things. How many likes did I get? Oh, if my post didn't get that many likes, then I must not be the best version of myself. But if you watched my video on how to stay motivated even when it's hard, which I will link down below, I talk about a story about a guy who bakes a cake, and I got that from Pinero, which I will link him down below. He's a motivational speaker. And this man bakes a cake, and Oprah walks in, loves his cakes, brings awareness to his cake shop, and then his cakes go viral, but nothing changed about the cakes. So it's like, just because you didn't get a lot of likes doesn't mean your content isn't good. It just means you don't have the attention on your page that you deserve. That takes time. Recognize that the best version of yourself understands that you have intrinsic value. And I made videos on how to build your self-worth, so you have intrinsic self-worth. And it doesn't matter if you are or aren't getting the likes, because the best version of yourself wouldn't care about that, so neither should you. Tip number 7 is you have to define the best version of yourself. Don't allow anyone else to do that for you. What I mean by that is a lot of the times we predicate the best version of ourselves on what our family thinks it is. For instance, like if you had a mother who always wanted you to be a chef, and she was like, oh, the best version of yourself in her eyes is you being this master chef that makes these exquisite dishes, right? But is that the best version of yourself to you? So what I encourage you to do right now, if you are able to, is to just have soft eyes, which is what they say in meditation, or close your eyes if you're capable. Shut out all the noise of what everyone says about you, all the expectations that your family has, and think, how do I see the best version of me? What does the best version of me look like? How do they hold themselves? What do they think about? What do they do? My favorite place to do this is in the shower, because I feel like the water pours down on me and literally drowns out all of the noise of other people's opinions on what they think the best version of me is. In order to become the best version of yourself instantly, ask yourself the following question, which is, how would the best version of myself that I'd like to become do the things that I am about to do today? Once you've asked that question, I want to give you permission to shed the old version of yourself. I am a signal from the universe reaching out to you and telling you it is okay to shed lower vibrational versions of yourself. And you have instant access with those parallel realities to tap in to that best version of yourself right here and right now. And sometimes we need to hear it from external sources. That is why I am really drilling this point home in telling you it is okay to let go of lower vibrational versions of yourself. And it is even okay if you were existing in those vibrations prior to watching this video. Tip number 8 is think in the perspective of the best version of yourself. What I mean by that is there's 2 ways to think about the best version of yourself. There's what would the best version of myself do? Or there's the actual thoughts the best version of yourself would have. And so we learned this in acting class. When you think, what would the best version of myself do? You're not instantly the best version of yourself. You're learning about your character. If we're talking about acting, you're learning about the role you're trying to play. You're not actually in the role yet. You're in the process of memorizing your lines, getting to know the character. But the point is when you think, what would the best version of myself be thinking right now? You are not in the vibration of the best version of yourself. To give an example, on this hand, thinking outside of the perspective of the best version of myself, I would think the best version of myself would write my book after I film this video. But that's a lower vibrational version of myself thinking about what the higher vibrational version of myself would do. Instead, I need to think in the role of that character. Instead of thinking, oh, that's what they would do, you're not aligned with the character. You're separate and you're trying to merge them. You're on the way. Trust and believe. I don't want you to think that that's bad, but instead take time to shift that perspective and think, after I film this video, I am going to write my book. So it's that little small shift that brings you into that alignment. So when I learned this in my acting class, it was so vital to me when it came to my own life and the behaviors and the actions that I wanted to do in my daily life. It's that small, teeny little shift, but it makes such a huge difference, whether it's in acting or whether it's in instantly becoming the best version of yourself. So that's all I have for you guys today. Remember, go forth, and you are now thinking in the perspective of the best version of yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. You are such a rock star. You are the best version of yourself. Feel free to hit the like or subscribe as I post videos every Monday, and would love to see you guys back here. Look me up on Instagram or TikTok if you want to connect with me. I love whenever you guys comment and reach out, and I will see you guys again in the next video.